Hello, and welcome back to another installation of Atog City Limits. We're going to watch Quinn on Living Wish 10 Depths. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means here in a second, versus Austin on Tainted Pact Control again.
Yeah, so I know that the deck that Quinn's playing is a little bit of a specialty of yours. You were the recent recipient of a 4-0 at one of our local card shops here.
Yes, so it is a mashup of two combo decks stitched together with the card Living Wish. So the two combo decks are Tin Fins, the deck that uses Shallow Grave to put a hasty Griselbrand into play. Ideally draw 14 cards, attack, draw another 7, and then use those 21 cards to win in some sort of way. The win con in this deck is Laboratory Maniac. So in this current version of the deck.
Land deck.
The way you keep it drawing is there's a card called Children of Korlis, 1 white mana creature, lets you sacrifice it to gain life equal to the amount of life you've lost this turn. So you, after the first 14 life you paid for Griselbrand, you gain it all back, draw 14 more, reanimate the Children of Korlis, gain 28, and from there it's pretty trivial to draw your deck. And in this version of the deck, you play a Laboratory Maniac, draw until you have no cards in the library, and win the game. Mm-hmm. The other combo is the Dark Depths combo. So Vampire Hexmage or Thespian Sage allow you to take all the ice counters off of Dark Depths and put a 20/20 Merit Lage token into play.
Absolutely, and before any of our viewers ask, the reason that deck is called Tin Fins, it's a bad C-Lab 20/20 joke, and that's about all I know.
Yep.
Looks like we're going back to the game briefly. Quinn is going to keep on 6 and start off with Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Was there more you were going to say, Aaron?
I was just going to mention that the card that stitches these two combos together is Living Wish, which allows you to get a creature or land out of your sideboard.
1 and a green?
Yes. And importantly, most of the combo pieces in the deck are creatures or lands. So the 3 cards that work, or the 3 parts of the Dark Depths combo, either the Thespian Stage or the Vampire Hexmage plus the Dark Depths, you can all wish for those. You can wish for Griselbrand, you can wish for Children of Korlis, you can wish for Laboratory Maniac out of the Tin Fins combo. Mm-hmm. You're also playing an obscure Portal 3 Kingdoms card, Loyal Retainers, mm-hmm. Which you can sacrifice to reanimate a legendary creature.
All true. It looks like that Quinn has indeed cast a Living Wish, bring your Dark Depths to hand.
Yes. And it looked like he had 2 Vampire Hexmages in play. So it looks like we're going to see a pretty quick 20/20 here.
Duress coming down from Austin's side.
Ooh. Yep, 2 Hexmages, Dark Depths. This could be over quickly, folks.
I don't remember seeing a Sword Splashers. Austin does play some number of Innocent Blood, as well as a Crop Rot for Karakas. So it's possible that we're not just dead here, but it's not looking good if you... Ooh, and Dark Red. It's not looking super strong if you're on Team Austin.
Oh, yeah, this Dark Red's nice because it allows him to play both Hexmages, so he has...
Insurance.
Insurance against...
those effects we just meant, the edict effects as we call them.
Yeah, she doesn't need to crack this petal here because of the Urborg in play. The Dark Depths can make black mana, but
that's correct.
I don't really think it matters too much here.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see what Austin can draw to peel out of this.
Yeah, I think Crop Rot for Karakas is
the
probably
best,
his only answer at this point.
Or if he has like a blue spell of some kind, to...
Oh, yeah, Repeal would be really good. Yeah, he does have the main deck Repeal. That could be a beating.
Mm-hmm. And Quinn's just going to go for the making of Merit Lage on that step. So Dark Depths, once it's sacrificed, there's of course a number of ways you can do that. Once all the ice counters are removed from Dark Depths, one sacrifices it. It makes a 20/20 flying indestructible avatar token named Merit Lage. Okay, we're going over to Quinn's turn now. Beats for 22.
No repeal.
And we got a Scooperino.
No repeal. That would have been hilarious.
I would have loved that. Okay, so we're going to the sideboard, and let's start with the Land Nauseam deck, Aaron. What sort of things if we were an unknown opponent, there's not a lot we could have gotten off of that opener, I think. But, you know, Quinn does know what Austin's on. So what sort of sideboard things would you consider bringing in for this matchup?
On the tin depth side?
Mm-hmm.
I would consider the 3 copies of Silent Gravestone.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I mean, if I'm Quinn and I know exactly what Austin is playing, I know he only has 1 surgical extraction. Do you know if he's running the extirpate at all?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, I don't think he is. So, but it looks like he is going to bring in the 3 Silent Gravestone here just to be safe, to protect himself from Deathrite Shaman and surgical extraction.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can trim some mana sources here.
Dark Ritual.
Yeah, I think Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, LED was what I was doing yesterday. I mean, you could also cut like Cabal Therapy, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Okay, and on Austin's side, he does have a decent amount of main deck answers as it is. You know, we talked about that Repeal, Karakas, Crop Rotation, and, of course, the Edict effects, if that becomes relevant. Liliana the Veil included among them.
Yep.
Out of the board, I'm not super positive what Austin has that could address
I like the
things
Sorceress Spyglass.
Yes, I guess he has the Rest in Peace. We didn't see that half
Oh yeah, there's
of
the
the
Rest
deck.
in Peace, yeah.
Contain Priest doesn't work if it's a token. Merit Lage itself is a token. It's a crucial point. It's easy to get blown out if you're trying to play Contain the Priest against lands
absolutely.
and friends.
Yeah, I think Rest in Peace, Sorcerer's Spyglass. Aether's One Canonist is good against the Tinfin side of the deck, not particularly useful against the Dark Depth side.
Exactly.
That's what's nice about this this combo deck is that the 2 angles of attack are fairly discrete, and they require different approaches to beat effectively. I mean, there are some cards that deal with both halves, Karakas being the most notable, being able to stop both Griselbrand and Merit Lage. At least with Griselbrand, though, you do get to draw ideally 14 cards before it gets sent into the Shadow Realm.
Mindbreak Trap, not especially useful, I don't think, out of Austin's sideboard. Would you agree?
So it stops the just wombo combo, go off, draw all the cards, play all the stuff. Tinfin's turns. So I would probably consider bringing it in, and also some of these faster Dark Ritual starts.
I'm sure could be just cold stopped by the Mindbreak Trap, as those of you who watched the previous videos might have seen when Austin just stopped Quinn mid, mid-combo turn.
Yep, Mindbreak trapped his Burning Wish out of Belcher. Quinn had no more resources left and promptly scooped the game.
It's a real fast one.
Yeah, so I think Mindbreak Trap is good against the Dark Ritual Entomb Shallow Grave starts, or Dark Ritual Entomb Exhume starts. It's 3 spells, you exile the crucial spell, and hopefully that should be good enough.
One hopes.
Or at least to keep you alive.
So sort of as a functional counterspell then. Alright. Let's see, what, so given that you've played the Rihanna Depths, or what are you calling it?
Living Tin Depths.
That's a dumb name.
But I know, that's really stupid.
Living Tin Depths. Talk a little bit about what are some of the advantages of playing that deck as opposed to the more, as you said, discrete combo decks.
Well, so I think the main advantage is that it's hard to defend against both lines of attack. Your opponent has to bring in very different sideboard cards to combat the different halves. And so you could run into situations where your opponent has sideboard cards for one half and you have the other part of the combo. Also, it's kind of unexpected, so you can masquerade as some of the more just linear combos. So you can masquerade as either Tinfins or either Dark Depths, and then have your opponent
only bring
sideboard to beat that half of the deck and then win with the other half.
Yeah, I think truly experienced players against the Turbo Depths deck, do they play Dark Ritual often?
They do not, so that would actually be a tell.
Right. That you were not playing against a strict Turbo Depths deck. Yeah. Otherwise, that was, minus the Dark Ritual, that was an extremely straightforward Turbo Depths hand.
Yeah, I mean the Living Wish is one of the variants,
Of course.
of Turbo Depths.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the Ascendant version at the moment, but it is well within the range of possibilities out of that deck.
Extreme Depths, I would say, is firmly tier 1 at this point. However, it's not sort of reached as, I would say, like the Rug Delver status. Alright, so we got a Darkslick Shores out of Austin into an Inquisition of Kozilek, and let's see what that reveals.
Looks like LED Swamp, Living Wish, something, Lotus Petal, Shallow Grave, Dark Ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really tell what that is in the middle.
It's weird that it looks like a Giralf's Messenger to me.
Really, it kind of looks like the M11 Duress to me, but
It's got a really long name, though.
having put this deck together, I know it's not.
Okay, looks like he's gonna take the Shallow... Oh, is it just a Griselbrand?
Oh, yeah, I think it's just a Griselbrand.
We can only just see the part of the card that has no art, except for a pleasant gray background.
Huh, I think we're going to get to see some... If that is a Griselbrand, I think we're going to get to see some fireworks this turn. I think... again, see, this is one of the other advantages of this deck, is your opponents may just not know how to play against it because it's really rogue. So here, I think, if that is a Griselbrand in hand, we're going to get to see Living Wish, crack LED for white on the stack, to get Loyal Retainers,
Dark Ritual plate,
to reanimate the Griselbrand.
Well, that could be very exciting.
Yep, I think we're going to see Loyal Retainers. I didn't get to use Loyal Retainers yesterday, so I'm really excited to see this.
I'll have to give a compliment to the chef here in terms of the choice of Dark Rituals and Swamps.
Thank you. Those are a Christmas present from Sarah Litt.
Best wife ever would be me.
Yep. Here it is.
That's exciting. All right, so right now what Quinn is doing is he's going to go fetch that Loyal Retainers by cracking LED with the Living Wish on the stack. Living Wish is exiled. As you'll recall, you can grab a creature or a land from the sideboard. Last game, it grabbed a Dark Depths. With this game, we're getting Loyal Retainers. And we got a reader, understandably. Remind us what Loyal Retainers does.
So, yeah, this is a really weird card from Portal 3 Kingdoms. It is a creature, I think maybe 1/1 for 2 and a white. During your first main phase, you can sacrifice it to return a legendary creature from your graveyard to play. They're Loyal Retainers that will do anything for their boss, including dying to bring that back to life.
So in this case, it's return target Griselbrand.
Yep, exactly.
From graveyard to play. And this is just a sort of, in this particular situation, it's a pain-free reanimation, no strings attached, as you would get with the Shallow Grave, Gorya's Vengeance, etc., correct?
Yeah, so it's really nice. It lets Quinn draw 14 here. He's got 2 black floating, so...
Or I think it looks like, 2 black, sorry.
Yeah, I think we might see a turn 1 win here. This is some exciting stuff. Yeah, there's another Dark Ritual, so should have plenty of mana. I think the only issue here is going to be finding Children of Korlis, but even if he doesn't, he got to draw 14 cards.
And he's got a Griselbrand. I don't see a Children, do you?
Not yet, no.
It's only turn 1, so Quinn doesn't have a land drop or anything to make. I don't quite understand the flavor on Children of Korlis. Are you enough of a Borthos to understand?
I am not, no. I think...
It's a time spiral card?
Yeah, it is. It's, I think, a callback to something from Legends. I think there's some sort of Korlis card. I may be wrong about that, though. Well, there's the Children.
The Children have been found. We can call off the Amber Alert.
Huh. Okay, I think this will work. So I think he can play the Dark Ritual. He's got some LEDs, so he can discard his hand. So he can Dark Ritual to make some more mana, crack the LEDs for even more mana. Probably going to want to make blue at some point for the Laboratory Maniac kill here.
Oh, you think we're on to that? That's what we're up to, the Laboratory Maniac kill?
I think we're gonna go all the way this turn. We could be here a while, so if you want to fast forward till the end to see how it all works, this could actually take a while. So I think Quinn is going to cast Exhume, retain priority, crack an LED to discard his hand to bring back the Children, and to gain back all the life he paid into the Griselbrand.
It appears to be what's happening. We'll see what particulars of the line that Quinn actually takes. I think at this point, fast forwarding a little to the Tainted Pact today, I get the impression that had Austin just had Forces of Will, like a lot of these games would have gone pretty differently. Belcher is famously weak to card named Force of Will.
Yep.
The matches that I played with Painter, I didn't necessarily, those weren't especially impressive starts out of Painter. You know, they were fine. Those were reasonable showings of the deck. But I think a Force of Will on any of those, like, Blood Moons would have been great. But I think in the second game, too, it was just kind of anemic baby creature beatdowns, which is my personal favorite way to win with the deck, because I find it the most amusing. But yeah, target Force of Will would have, I think, changed the tenor of these games, as it were. Okay, so Quinn's discussing his lines with Austin, because I think at this point most of the information is on the table.
So I wonder, going back to what you were saying about the sort of weakness of the Tainted Pact control deck to these turn 1 combo decks, which with oh boy, here we go. Okay, so he's going to get 2 Children activations. This is a nice line.
Okay, I heard black-green, I think, is what he's getting.
So this is a really nice play. I hadn't thought of this. To use the Shallow Grave, it's going to... Oh, he needed to discard those in a slightly different order, I think. Yeah, I think he just needed to discard... Because there was a way, I think, to get 2 Children activations there. He just discarded the Griselbrand on top of the Children when he was discarding his hand.
Oh.
So, slight misstep, but super sweet line.
Does Shallow Grave care about the order of
Shallow Grave is one of the 2 cards that cares, the 2
like Legacy,
somewhat widely played cards in Legacy that care about the order of your graveyard.
And the other one?
Is Nether Shadow, which is played in Manaless Dredge.
Thank you. All right, well, so the point is we have Griselbrand.
Matters too much here. I think Quinn is still going to be able to do all the stuff.
And Austin's being a real champ of a player and keeping track of his opponent's life total.
Yep. The one time yesterday when I went off like this, my opponent just said, "Tell me what your kill condition is."
I may have overheard that.
And I told him, and he conceded the game, which was nice. But
GG.
Quinn is gonna put on a show for us. So.
Well, hey, here at ATOG City Limits, only the best for our viewers. Okay. So, we're hanging out with the happy little Griselbrand in play. He's excited to see you.
So I think, going back to what we were
saying about
Austin's sideboard, I wonder if for these
fast combo decks,
really fast combo decks that seem to be fairly rife in the local Austin meta, whether it would be worth playing the other 3 Force of Wills in the sideboard and possibly sideboarding out the Tainted Pacts for the Force of Wills, or just accepting that your Tainted Pact is maybe sometimes going to whiff, just so that you have some more interaction turn 1 and turn 0.
I think that's interesting. That might be something worth suggesting. Okay, so we got an Exhume on ye old Children of Korlis. Children are going to, again, give their lives for the sake of... I don't know what the flavor is here. They seem like they're sacking lives to their demon master.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. We're sacrificing children to demons.
Yeah, this is a... We at ATOG City Limits strive for a family-friendly stream, but sometimes the cards do what the cards do.
Yeah, I mean, we've got dark rituals to sacrifice children to demons.
Yup.
And,
no denying, friend.
Eventually, we're going to put a madman into play and...
win the game by emptying our library.
Which is supposed to be our mind, right?
Right,
we're going to lose our mind.
We're going to go insane, but win the game. So you said earlier that we're going to need some blue mana for Laboratory Maniac. Do we have a way still to get blue mana?
We do. I think we still have 3 Lotus Petals left in the deck.
Okay.
Yep.
Hopefully Quinn remembers that line, or if not, we'll just chill with our friend Griselbrand.
Although he has drawn a lot, he could deck out as the problem.
Before he finds the Lab Man. Laboratory Maniac is, 1 and a blue for a...
2 and a blue.
2 and a blue for a 1/1?
2/2.
2/2? Okay.
Yeah, for a bear. That says, If you would draw a card with an empty library instead of losing the game, you win the game. It's one of the sweeter alternate win cons.
Absolutely. What are some other fun win cons that are actually seen? That's the main one. Sees well, I mean, I guess Painter, right? With the Painter Grindstone combo, you of course win by milling your opponent out.
Quinn checking how many cards he has left in the library to make sure he doesn't deck out here before he gets the.
I believe Quinn's playing around in Emrakul.
He's seeing if there. I think he's seen if there is an Emrakul in the deck.
Yeah, which of course there is not. Yes.
There is not.
On either side.
I don't know. Maybe I should leave the booth and go tell him what the win con is. I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Okay, if Quinn can't call himself a real Johnny combo player and not know. Well, this has been pretty amusing. Okay, there's an LED, and we need that Lotus Petal as well, correct, for any blue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he made green, right? So he can crack that LED for blue, discard his 35 card hand here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that lab man is just real far down.
Well, the lab man is in the wish board. And I think he was consulting the board. Maybe he just missed it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're welcome to go advise if you wish.
Yeah,
as
maybe
deck expert.
I'll go let him know that he hasn't lost the game.
Yeah. Alright, so while Aaron goes and offers his expert combo guidance advice, I think what we'll do in ATOG City Limits after this is we'll have a brief recap with Austin. And it appears that Austin's been having a little bit of a rough time when it comes to our Tainted Pact control. But we'll talk with him and we'll get his thoughts about how today went, if there are things that we can shore up in the deck either in the main board or the sideboard to have a little bit more game. Perhaps we...
All right, we got that all cleared up, I think. Yeah, he was looking for the Emrakul or the Tendrils of Agony.
Emrakul being, of course, a classic, actual factual Tinfin's win con, because you generate enough mana with repeatable Lotus Petals and friends.
That is super tedious. Jeez, yeah. So we're going to see the Living Wish for the Laboratory Maniac. I mean, I really like the Laboratory Maniac as a kill. It's a lot less tedious than looping your entire deck to hardcast the Emrakul.
Yeah. It's a real clock burner.
And in this version, it's really nice because it just hangs out on the sideboard. It's not a dead card in your deck. The Living Wish can find other things, so...
Alright, and we got, looks like Ye Old Scooperino.
Did that... I actually don't think that Griselbrand had haste.
It was Shalgrave, wasn't it?
It was Loyal Retainer.
And wasn't Shalgrave later? Oh, that was the Children.
That was the Children, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
looks like...
Exciting turn one from the living tin depths.
You're not calling, like, Land Nauseam, which is not... That's a different
different stupid deck. We should have that on stream sometime.
That's okay. That could be fun. Maybe we'll... that for next
sound
stream.
Of in the comments if you'd like to see Land Nauseam. That's an exciting mashup of Ad Nauseam and lands that plays... cards whose converted mana costs add up to less than 20, so that you can draw your entire deck with an Ad Nauseam and then kill with either Lightning Storm or Grape Shot out of the side. Grape Shot in the main board and Lightning Storm in the sideboard. And then, of course, it has the Dark Depths combo and other elements of lands.
Okay, looks like we're going to be doing the sideboard reveal before Austin comes back to chat with us about the deck debrief. So we have a Grafdigger's Cage, Containment Priest, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Fairy Macabre, Surgical Extraction, Mindbreak Trap. Rest in peace, Maelstrom Pulse, and what he boarded out was a Deluge, True Name Nemesis, Leovold, Abrupt Decay, Jason de Torok, looks like Disrupt, Miscalc, Snapcaster Mage. I
wonder what the Maelstrom Pulse was for. I think maybe Silent Gravestone, and because otherwise, like the Surgicals and the Fairy Macabres are real bad.
Are what we in the business call dead draws.
Yeah, Silent Gravestone is so strong.
I'm glad, we included it in this particular version. Because was that a U inclusion, Silent Gravestone? Or is that something that people on the interwebs...
It was on the list, that I had found. I made a couple changes to that. But yeah, like, yesterday, for example, like, I played against an opponent. I knew he had two Surgicals in hand from an earlier Thoughtseize. And normally against a graveyard combo deck like Black Red Reanimator, you'd kind of be dead.
Mm-hmm.
If your opponent has double surgical.
Right, of course.
He also had a Deathrite Shaman as well, so you'd be super dead. And this, not only do you have the Dark Depths combo to just completely sidestep that, in this particular game, my hand was a graveyard hand, and I had the Silent Gravestone basically to turn off his Deathrite Shaman and make it a Squire, and blank the Surgicals.
Excellent. So it seems like it's a super clutch card in that particular matchup.
Oh yeah, it seems really good.
What were you playing against in that time?
Very spicy. I think it was blue-black Painter Grindstone that also had Thopter Sword combo and some other stuff. Also Deathrite Shaman.
I feel like we're getting into the Treasure Cruise era with Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we have
here's Austin and Quinn.
Yeah.
Deck
I was looking for the Emrakul, man. I was like...
Yeah, that's why we sent Aaron out to talk.
Yeah.
All right, so Austin, tell us, I know this was maybe not the record you wanted today.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of how it is with Tainted Pact, is sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield. But it is always an interesting endeavor. Even when your opponent is blasting you on turn 1 through your Inquisition, you still got to look at some interesting cards. I don't know. I thought there were like some interesting plays. Like if the Grixis Delver player didn't have when I was playing them, they didn't have like the clutch Force of Will on some of the tech. It would have led to like maybe a more interesting line of play. I think like. I definitely think that that's a very competitive matchup. Anything that's not necessarily killing you on turn 1 or turn 2 is like you can actually get some mana in play and get some of your effects online. That's really what the deck needs, is just like to have like access to varied effects.
Right.
It's the whole thing is like a toolbox deck. So
yeah, absolutely. So you actually need a turn, perhaps two, to implement some of your tools.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
Having said that, it was pretty sweet to get to Mindbreak Trap the Belcher.
That was great.
That was
awesome.
awesome.
One of my favorite plays of the afternoon.
I can't even be mad about it. It's like, if you're going to go hard enough to Mindbreak Trap, it's like, Belcher respect.
Yeah. That was a fun match of Belcher versus other deck, for sure.
No forcible. However, let me tell you about a little card called Mindbreak Trap.
Yeah.
Sarah and I were talking when we were watching that last match whether you think it would be worth it in the sideboard just to run the other 3 Force of Will and maybe either board out the Tainted Pact or just say I'm going to whiff when looking for cards that are not Force of Will with the Tainted Pact for some of these fast combo decks that seem really common.
That's a good question. Like I hadn't even really thought of like 3 Force of Will on the side, because you're right. Like that's kind of, especially in the matchups you want it in. Like it's kind of the same thing as having multiple Mindbreak Trap. Is like you would just stop on it, like in the dire scenario of like, oh god, they're about to reanimate Griselbrand.
About to murderize me in some way.
And then Living Wish for the Lab Man.
Living Wish for, like, the reanimate creature? What the hell is that?
Oh, that was great. Yeah, I didn't get to do that yesterday. I was, like, so hyped that you got to do that.
You explained it to me, I was like, wait.
Yeah, like, when I saw your head, I was like, oh, this is turn 1 with Loyal Retainers? Or, like,
Aaron was very
likely
excited.
turn 1? Yeah,
There
I
was
was
much
super pumped.
Much hype with it.
Yeah, I was bummed that I didn't get to whip out Reanimator, or reanimate the actual
yourself.
spell, and you get your Griselbrand.
You got that death right.
That was
I
exciting.
did, yeah.
And Aaron had to bolt it himself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
That was a bummer of a line.
this is 2018, just in a
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, any sort of final thoughts or changes that you'd like to make before bringing your deck back?
Yeah, definitely thought that that Force of Will idea is pretty sick. I don't know. That's kind of how it is with Tainted Pact. I think it's really at home playing against like a Stoneblade sort of like mid-range meta, playing against Delver decks, things like that. But the cool thing about it is you can kind of construct the sideboard to really deal with anything because you get enough sort of like overlapping effects. You can kind of reconstruct your deck pretty easily. So
yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think is, I guess, a final question would be, as sort of the check pile mid-range stuff is sort of falling out of favor, and things are kind of swinging towards Grixis Delver being, I guess, more aggressive, does that put Tainted Pact like in a worse spot in your mind? It looked like you had game against Delver.
That was probably the closest game we saw.
I think. I actually prefer playing against, even though the match didn't go my way, I actually prefer playing against Delver, just because I have like pretty much everything in my deck is online in game one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a lot of removal that, playing against something like Dark Depths or trying to kill a Griselbrand with an Abrupt Decay or Fatal Push doesn't really work. So
they don't call the judge, it works.
Yeah.
Come on.
So it's like it feels like the deck is set up better to kind of just deal with the Delver threat package and not so much the check pile like control stuffs. Check pile is like a little bit more of a coherent control strategy, I think. So
you think that check pile just kind of overpowers Tainted Pact?
Check pile is kind of like doing the Tainted Pact thing of like having random like a bunch of different effects.
2 lightning bolts.
But it's like very coherent. It's less toolboxy and like more like
1 Inquisition, 1.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's like
So.
if you let machine learning create a deck, it's just like you get this monstrosity.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is
Machine learning
this?
created
Yeah, that's the deck that the robots would make in the future. Come and kill us all.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments if there's any decks you'd like to see us run through our own little mini gauntlet next week. We had talked about Land Nauseam, right?
Land Nauseam.
As a potential combo deck. And that might be something that we play next week on the gauntlet. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and come see us again.
See you later. Bye.